everyone, Sandy here with my Mom Glow. Are you making your baby registry and feeling completely overwhelmed? There's so many companies and ads and stores that will convince you that you need 200 different baby items. But honestly, you really don't need that much. You really want to start with the basics, right? So I always tell my families to focus on your basic needs first. So the baby's basic needs and your basic needs, not the newest gadgets, not the things that you've seen an ad for a million different times, honestly. But in reality, what the baby needs is love, food, a safe place to sleep, a safe place to travel in, obviously, clothes, and you. That's really it. You know, like high chairs and toys and those play mats. Yeah, sure, you can have them, but you're probably not going to use them for a really long time. So if you're doing your registry for your newborn baby, then you really don't need all the extra stuff. If people want to gift it to you, great. But the basic necessities, like food, which if you're breastfeeding, there's you. If you're not breastfeeding, then you may want to have some bottles on hand, of course. But even a crib, sometimes you don't need a crib right away because they're so tiny. You're going to have a bassinet next to your bed. And there's a lot of different bassinets out there. There's a bassinet that you can like pull to the length of your bed. There's one that attaches to your mattress and becomes an extension of your bed. And then there's little like bassinets that are super cute and round and they're open all the way around. There's some that rock the baby and make sounds and are thousands of dollars. It really depends on what you're comfortable with and what's easy enough to get the baby in and out of. Because at night, especially if you're breastfeeding at night and you're having to pick the baby up and put the baby back in, you don't want to have to like get up and go into a big bulky bassinet or have to reach too far. The baby should be within arm's reach. So think about that when you're looking at all these different bassinets. Typically, bassinets are basic. They come with like a fitted sheet. There's no pillows or nothing like that because that's not safe. That's not recommended for a baby. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to get the most expensive one out there, honestly. I don't know how many times I've been to a mom's house and I'm supporting them, whether it be a postpartum or a breastfeeding consultation, and their bassinet is just filled with clothes or diapers. And they're like, yeah, we don't even use it. We use that for storage, or the baby hates it. So don't go overboard. Just try to get something that's simple and easy for your situation and your space too. If you don't have a large enough space, then that's another thing to consider. You know, in general, it should have a firm mattress, fitted sheet, maybe 2 to 3, so that way if there's any like, you know, blowouts, diaper blowouts or spit up or anything like that, you can change it and you don't have to worry about washing a whole load of laundry for one fitted sheet. I would say some sleep sacks. Those are actually, in my opinion, really great in the beginning. You don't have to like worry about swaddling them in the little burrito. You just put them in the sleep sack. A lot of times it's either Velcro that holds their arms like this, which is nice because they feel cozy, or they even have the ones that's just a zipper and their hands are like this. And that's another thing. It depends on what your baby likes because not every baby likes to be swaddled or constricted. Some of the sleep sacks actually has the hands out and you know, the legs are in. But the sleep sack acts like a blanket. You don't have to worry about the blankets going over their head or being, you know, all crunched up if they start to move around. So another thing that you can maybe look into as far as sleeping is concerned is a white noise machine, or maybe something that also has a red or an orange light in it, because the red and the orange light is helpful, especially in those early days. It will not disrupt the sleepy hormones, which is really, really crucial. Babies are nocturnal in the beginning. They don't really know the difference between day and night. And if you want to know why, it's because as moms are walking around, the baby is living in water and they're swaying and they're just like, oh, and they're moving throughout the day and they're just swaying around and rocking them to sleep. That's why they like to be rocked. Then all of a sudden the mom is like, ah, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to relax, I'm going to watch a movie, or I'm going to read a book or whatever. And all of a sudden the baby's like, oh yeah? Well, I'm going to move this way and I'm going to move that way. I'm going to adjust. And then all the kicking starts. Well, they kind of stay the same when they're born. They kind of stick to the same similar schedules. And it's normal until they adjust and they realize when it's time for bed and when it's time to be awake. So having a nice dim red or orange light at night is going to be very helpful to keep them sleeping and not wake everyone up when you're doing diaper changes or you're having to like feed them. You don't want to have any crib bumpers. You don't want to have any like wedges or toys, stuffed animals, any kind of pillows or like extra thick comforters in the blanket. It should just be flat, and the baby should be in a sleep sack with a nice warm pajama, and that is the safest way to put them to sleep. And now feeding, right? So if you're breastfeeding, it's pretty simple. It's you. Maybe a breastfeeding nursing pillow. There's so many different ones out there. There's very stiff ones that have like a clip behind the back. Not my favorite, but some people swear by them. It just has you in a more upright position. And in general, when you're breastfeeding, you want to kind of recline back. I like, and this is the ones that I recommend to my clients, the ones that can mold to your body. So like, you know, a softer breastfeeding pillow that it's like a half moon that just kind of goes in the front and you can adjust it for the side nursing. You know, those pillows are really nice. And those pillows are not meant to just place the baby on. Those pillows are meant to support your arms while you're holding your baby. That is what those pillows are designed to do. You can look into some nursing bras, something that fits you in your third trimester, and something that's stretchy so that if you go through the engorgement period in the postpartum, it can stretch with you. So soft, nothing with wires. There's a lot of different nursing bras out there, but you definitely want to get something that's comfortable, that fits you in the third trimester. That way you can, you know, continue wearing it after. That's usually around the size that you'll be. You know, some nipple creams is okay to have, but putting your own breast milk is also really beneficial because it has healing properties. Nipple creams is what I like to call chapstick for chapped lips. It's to help prevent chafing on the nipples when you're like rubbing with the shirt. Let's say you go out, you have to go to a doctor's appointment, you can put some nipple cream. So that's something else that you can have. I would say have like a little caddy of things next to where you're going to be nursing or resting, so that way you don't have to get up and go look for things. You have everything in one spot. So maybe having a caddy that you put on your registry and people can get, and then you can fill it with all your necessities. You can fill it with your nipple cream, or maybe some nursing pads. Like if you're leaking, they have disposable ones, they have reusable ones. You can put even some snacks in there, the diapers, the wipes, like everything in one little caddy or a little cart next to wherever you're going to be hanging out, whether it's the sofa or your bed. Hopefully it's your bed, especially the first couple weeks, so that you're resting. But that way everything is in one spot, or if you send your partner or someone to get it, they know exactly where to get it. So that's another option. And you know, maybe a haka or a milk collector in case you're leaking, something that you can just catch the milk instead of leaking into the breast pads, and you can save the milk. You can get a breast pump, but I will tell you this, and a lot of times insurance companies, if you're getting a breast pump from the insurance company, they'll send it to you ahead of time. You don't want to use it right away, right? If you have it, it's there in the event of an emergency, or in the event that someone that is supporting you can show you how to use it. But you shouldn't start pumping right away from the beginning. You should really try to establish breastfeeding and the routine, and go through those first few weeks of allowing the baby to go to the breast to communicate with your body before you start pumping. Ideally, I recommend not pumping until a minimum of 4 weeks postpartum. That way you've established a breastfeeding relationship and your body has adjusted, and you've also gone through the healing process on your nipples too. And if you decide to bottle feed, you want to have at least 4 to maybe 6 bottles. Maybe a bottle brush that's specifically just for bottles and, you know, parts that clean, like the pacifiers or anything that you're using for the baby specifically. A drying rack. You could get a sterilization, like tabletop sterilization machine that they have. But if you don't have a lot of space in your kitchen, you can just boil water. You bring the water to a boil for as soon as it brings it to a boil, you turn it off, you throw the parts in there, you leave it for 5 minutes, and that is how you effectively sterilize, and that is from the CDC guidelines. And then diapering, right? Diapering is very important. Diapers are one of the things that you're gonna need a lot of. A cute idea is if you're gonna have a baby shower, you can do a diaper raffle, right? So everyone has to bring a bag or a box of diapers of your choice. And you can put this in your, like in your invitation, let's say, and say, okay, I like these specific diapers. And everyone brings it, and then they get a ticket for the raffle. And then at the end, because everyone has brought, diapers and even wipes, you can give them a gift card, or you can give them a gift, or, and it makes it fun because, you're, even if you give them $100 gift card, guaranteed all those diapers and wipes that you got would have been way more than $100. So that's just a cute idea that you can incorporate if you decide that you're going to do a baby shower or a sprinkle or whatever you want to call it nowadays. So that's another thing that you definitely want to have. And I would get different sizes, and I would not open the diapers until your baby arrives. It's so important because let's say you have newborn diapers, but you have an 8 or 9 pound baby that doesn't fit into newborn diapers. Now you've opened a whole box of diapers that you can't return or exchange for the size that you need. So that's another factor, right? And then as far as clothing, babies grow so fast. You're not going to need a ton of clothing. I would say maybe like 10 to 20 newborn outfits, and that's because you're probably going to be rotating them, and you have to change the baby sometimes from spit up or a blowout, or they just got dirty. You could do like 6 to 8 sleepers. Those are the full sleepers, long sleeve, and even the footies. I would do probably maybe like 10 onesies, if that. Get some socks, maybe a few hats. You really only need to use the hats, if that, the first couple days. And some people don't even use them at all. But if you live in a cold climate, then yes, you want to have some hats and some warmer clothes. And then some swaddles, some sleep sacks. That's definitely, I always try to, make sure that's on the list, because those are really helpful, especially for nighttime. And you can also register for multiple sizes. So if you don't necessarily want to have a ton of newborn stuff, or you're not going to use a lot of newborn stuff, you can put multiple sizes of things on your registry, and people can go on there and, get whatever you chose. You can do like bath towels, washcloths. You could also do like a baby bath, something that's simple and easy, something that you can put the baby where they're in an elevated position. They're not going to fall into the tub. There's some fancy ones out there that have like a little shower head that you can connect. And, you really have to look at what's practical for you and what space you have in your house. Are you going to do this on a counter? Or are you going to do it inside the bathtub? So you got to look at those things and see which one you like better. Maybe some gentle soap, maybe something organic, not with a lot of chemicals and lots of perfume, something that's very mild. We don't know how sensitive the baby's going to be, so if you get something even that's natural that has a lot of perfumes in it, they might have a reaction to it. So you really want to start with something very mild at first, and then kind of go to different options that you like. Maybe even a soft brush, if depending if they have a lot of hair. Some other things that you should have on hand, just in general, especially for like health needs, is a thermometer. You should maybe have like a nasal aspirator, which is like the little bulb, or they even have like, the tubey ones that you suck. I think it's called the Nose Frida, I'm not sure. You can do saline spray, or they actually have these baby kits that come with everything. Nail clippers, the bulb aspirator, the thermometer, the little filers for their nails, and it all comes in a kit. So look at something that has everything in a kit. It makes it so much easier and simple. And then of course you want to have something for transportation, so a car seat. And when it comes to car seats, there are some car seats that grow with the baby, so you can get the one that they can use as a newborn, and then it continues to grow with them until they turn a year. But just keep in mind that those are not the ones that you can take out of the car and carry. They typically will stay fixed inside the car. So if you want to have something that you can carry, then you want to look at the car seats that have the handle. They do have a weight limit, and sometimes they come attached to strollers, and sometimes they even have the wheels that are already attached, which I think are really cool, honestly. When I had my babies, I wish I would have had that. It's a car seat that has wheels that fold into it. I call it the little transformer of car seats. And then the wheels come out, and it's a stroller, and you don't have to carry an extra piece. It automatically turns into a stroller. So you got to see what you like and what's going to be practical for your situation. Are you going to need this? Do you have a toddler, and maybe you need that extra, you know, stroller that has like the extra seat, or maybe you don't need it. I personally love baby carriers. So if you can look into a ring sling or a structured carrier, even a wrap, because in the beginning when they're newborn and you're healing, especially in the first couple weeks, you shouldn't be carrying a heavy car seat, right? And they don't like it anyways. They like when you grab them and you put them on your chest and they're nice and cozy and they're sleeping against you in their wrap or the sling. And it's so much easier. Grab the baby, put the baby in the sling, and you're out the door. So you want to look at these things. You want to research them, see what you're comfortable with, see what your partner's comfortable with. But you don't have to go overboard on the registry. You really just need these basic necessities that are going to get you through those first few weeks postpartum. And then eventually you can look at other things. But don't drive yourself crazy. Like, those are the basics that you want to have on hand. And then all the extra stuff like the toys or the high chairs and the mats and all these different little gadgets. Great. If you want to add those on there because people are willing to get them for you, perfect. But don't overwhelm yourself, because there's so many ads out there. And the moment you search for baby supplies, all of a sudden you're going to get tons of commercials and ads and on your algorithm about baby supplies. And it's just going to be thrown at you. So just take it, sorry guys, take it day by day. Just get the necessities of what you need and do not overwhelm yourself with this stuff. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.